Hey!
Hello, honey. How are you?
Can't hear you. Hang on. Try that again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, just slightly.
How's this?
That's better.
Let me get closer to the microphone. I have a microphone set up. Now, I can't see your video. Do you have it? Do you want it on or off?
I thought it was on.
All I see is your lovely picture.
Oh, well, that's not good enough. Is that better?
There's the beautiful Louise.
Ram, hello you.
Hello.
See if I can... Oh, I've got the phone on charge at the moment, so hang on.
Oh, I do the same thing.
I've turned the computer on thinking you'd come through on the computer, but you haven't.
So everyone, as she's getting set up, this is Louise Underhill. She is a tarot friend of mine from over the pond. And Louise, what I want to do today is I just want to find out a couple of things. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is just tell us a little bit about who you are. I mean, I know that you're a fellow Pisces and a reader, and you're also a mom.
Yeah, busy mom to 3 very boisterous, lively kids, but that's kids for you. I was born in Glasgow. I don't live there anymore. I live in the middle of England, which is rather wet, cold, dank and grey, she says, looking out of the far window. Got into tarot about 12 years ago. Couldn't find anyone to teach me when I was 16. Eventually tried to get back into it again. And it was just as the internet started coming into the homes over here in the UK. So we got internet connection and we saying to my husband, I've got a deck of tarot cards somewhere. And he's like, well, why don't you go and find them? I said, yeah, but what's the point in finding them if I can't find someone to teach me? And he went, hon, we've got the internet. I'm sure you can find somewhere and somebody. I was like, oh, okay. I've got no excuses then, have I? So I found my deck. And I looked online and I looked at a couple of groups. And I came across TABI, the Tarot Association of the British Isles. I joined their free Yahoo group. And a couple of months later, I joined up as a paid member and I haven't left since.
Yeah, and that led you right down the path to ruin to the chairman position for a while.
Yeah, that was a bit silly of me, wasn't it? Oops. Yeah. Listen, I can pot kettle black here. You were chairman of the ATA for years, so don't start throwing those stones over here, girl. Don't you dare start throwing those over here.
In fact, I think that's one of the ways we met was when I was president of the ATA, that you were chairman of TABI, and we kind of chatted back and forth about some different things, and I was like, wow, I really like her. And then we found out we were both Pisces.
Yeah, your birthday's like a day or two after mine?
Yeah, mine's the 8th.
Your day after.
Yeah, that's my aunt. My aunt is the 7th. And you have a Pisces daughter, too.
I do. God, am I getting any payback I've done to my mother, I'm getting it tenfold. I'm sorry, Mom, I didn't mean it.
My best friend, her daughter, right around her own daughter's birthday, she texted her mom and she said, Mom, for every night you stayed up putting together one of these bleepity, bleepity, bleepity toys. Thank you. Because she had to put together some sort of baking kitchen for her daughter.
Oh, when they come flat packed, my husband just kind of walks away and I kind of go, just give me the screwdriver. Give me the screwdriver and just walk away. Just leave me to it.
Now, tell me, do you...
Oh, hello, kitty cat. I can see the black
cat. She is my lipstick licker. I call her Pentecostal because she doesn't want me to wear lipstick. But in the UK, do you think that there is is it more open, closed? And I don't know that more is a good word because I've never been there. Have you been to the States to compare?
I've been to the States. I was there on honeymoon. I went to Florida. I didn't have my tarot cards read when I was in Florida. I had my runes done. And we were at Disney World, so it was quite for me, it was far more open door, welcoming policy than you have here, little back scrubs. That said, there are some places, the big cities, if you're in Birmingham or Glasgow or Edinburgh or London, Plymouth, Bristol, the big cities, you'll find the doors pretty much open. But if you go to small, I don't know, say backwater states, backwater towns like you have over there, you come to little villages over here and it's kind of like curtain twitches and open doors and watch what's going on. You think, get a life. It's very, very, very closed doors in some places, but very open in others. So, but we've got rules and regulations over here about what you can and cannot read for and what type of things you can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, there's a set of ethics that Tabby's come up with anyway, which is one of the reasons why I actually did go for Tabby and join Tabby. But there's the fact that they had ethics that kind of said, look, you've got to be over 18. Yeah, don't ask us about health-related questions. We're not doctors. And if we are, we're not going to give you a tarot reading about it. We're going to give you a professional opinion. We're not lawyers. Yeah, we'll give you some common sense advice. But if you want a lawyer, go find one. And if we think we need one, we'll send you to one. We're not trained counsellors. Some of us aren't trained counsellors. A lot of us aren't trained counsellors. So if you want more help in a tarot reading, you will be referred. So there was a good structure there, kind of like, no, it's not just a case of willy-nilly say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
You've got to take some responsibilities of it. You've got to take some ownership of it. And I really like that.
And Tabby lets people you don't have to live in the British Isles to join Tabby, correct?
No, we've got members from Australia, Canada, your side of the pond, as far over as your side of the pond, actually probably a bit further. I think we've got some Singapore, we've got some members from Singapore, so if there's a country with a tarot reader in it, we've probably got a member there somewhere, or they are a member.
And your new chairman, or one of your new co-chairmen, is actually living in the U.S., but I believe she's originally from.
Yeah, Joanna Sprott.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't get a chance to go to the AGM. I was too busy with the kids. So I've been catching up on all the news and stuff since. But yeah, Joanna's an expat. She's come from this end. She remembers how cold and grey and dank and smelly it can be. And she's over there. I'm not quite sure what state she's in now.
Texas, she was in Texas. I know she was talking about moving.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I can't remember where she's ended up and laid down her hat at the moment, but
yeah.
Whatever. She's I handed over the newsletter to other people. I ran the newsletter for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh, what haven't I done with the organisation? Oh, it doesn't matter because I'm not doing it anymore.
I hear that. I check in on the ATA sometimes, but I stay away from the board. I mean, I love the board members, but I stay out of what's going on with the board because I'm not an elected official anymore, and I don't need to be putting my nose in all their stuff.
No, I quite happily walked away from that. I've suffered a bit with postnatal depression when I had my daughter, and it really messed with my head, and I couldn't do both.
Yeah, well, good for you for taking care of yourself. That's the important piece, right?
I had no choice. It was either... It was just common sense. It just had to be done. It had to be me and the family over Tabby. I mean, I love Tabby. They are like an extended family, but sorry, guys.
Now, she turns...
It could have done better.
Is she 2 this year or 3? Wow.
She's 3 in February. I know, wow, is an understatement. 2013 she was born. She's first decline Pisces.
Now, for those watching, one of the things Tabby does is they offer this amazing program that you can go in and you take classes, you get mentored, you do test readings, and you become, is it a certified Tabby reader or approved? What is the...
Oh, now that I'd have to go and...
Because I can't remember the phrasing.
Certified sounds like I should be in a straitjacket, which sounds about right, actually. No, I think the phrase is certified.
Yeah, but
Yes, I've got my cup of coffee here as well.
and mine is wait. You're in England. Everybody in England and the British Isles drinks nothing but tea. That's what we know in
I've had
America.
2 cups of tea today. This is my afternoon chill out time, and I have a latte. This is my self-indulgent coffee, very milky coffee, and it's hot.
I'm having my morning coffee, so y'all, it's 2:30 in her time, and it's 7:30 or 7:20, 2:20 in my time.
Yeah.
So I screwed up the time, which is why I look a little frazzled. She messages me and says, "I'm ready when you are," and I thought, but it's not for 5 hours. No, I was wrong.
Sorry, 4 or 5 hours time, I'll be entertaining 2 little boys at a birthday party with a bunch load of trampolines, and I'm letting them at it.
How fun! Now, tell me about tarot for you. What has been your most defining moment as a tarot reader? What made you realize you were a professional?
When did that penny drop? That's a good question. When did that penny drop? See, my eldest is now 9. I was 3 years before that. So it was about 7 years ago, and I'd been reading professionally. And I say professionally with introverted marks because I had been paid for doing it, so it was in a professional capacity. But when you get people coming in and saying, thank you for helping, and thank you for giving me an idea and giving me a kick up the bum, you kind of think, yeah, I got it. I have got it.
Yeah.
I tend to find the universe and the cosmos send me people that need a kick up the bum. I don't get people. I try and be nice, but I tend to find people who just kind of go, I don't want to, and then I kind of go, why the hell not? Do you expect me to do it for you? I've kind of become the bad-mouthed grandmother. I'm not the woman that sits there that kind of looks all sweetness and light. People look at me and go, she's up to something. What is she up to? So anyone that kind of needs a swift slap around the head, Gibbs style, NCIS, or steel toe cap boot up the butt, I tend to find it's me that the universe sends them to. Usually if they're sent to me, I'm the last resort. I'm kind of like the wake-up call.
And I think that there are, because we have a lot of tarot friends in common and a lot of professional readers, and it's interesting to watch our different styles. You know, we have, there's Tony Gilbert is a very well-known tarot reader over here, and she does transpersonal counseling. And it's a very specific thing that she does. You know, and so I know if I've got somebody who really needs counseling and professional, and they want to do it with tarot, I'm going to send them off to Tony or over to Andy Matzner, who's also he's a psychologist. He's a licensed or master. He may be a social worker, but he's one or the other. But I like that we have so many different, because there's so many different people in the world. There are people that love doing the "Does he love me" spreads. Those make me a little crazy.
Oh, every time I get one of those, I keep thinking, girl, if you're asking the question, the answer is hell no. Move on. If you're having to ask the tarot the question, is he coming back to me? I'm sorry, but the answer is hell no. I sat there before I got out with my husband, the boyfriend before him, and he was supposed to come and visit me Christmas Day. He didn't. I didn't see him for 3 months. I kind of knew Christmas Day when he couldn't be bothered to turn up, the answer was, it's over.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to figure that one out, but how easy would it have been to go, just ask the tarot? If you're having to ask the question, the answer is hell no. I've worked that one out after 22 years, the answer is no.
Now, what deck do you work with? What is your favorite tarot deck? Do you have one primary? Do you work with a couple?
I blog with the Wildwood, and that is my deck. I have it in electronic version. I have 2 copies in the house. I have a working copy and I have a copy that's never been opened, never seen the light of day, and my daughter's been nowhere near the Knight of Bows and dog-eared it and chewed it and crunched it up on me. I keep a digital version on my tablet and on my phone. again, because she can't get little mittens on it. But she likes the cards as much as the boys do, and they'll come to me from time to time and go, Mummy, will you teach me how to read the cards? Yeah, I'll teach you. What do you want to know? What card? And we'll go for it. And then my eldest turned around to me one day and says, you've never taught me. I says, darling, when have you ever bought me the deck to show me that you're interested and say, can you spend some time now, Mum? I'm not going to force you to do something, darling. If you want it, you bring it to me and we'll do it. But it's off your own bat. It's not something I'm going to force you to do. Oh, okay. Can we go through some now? Yes, we can. So I was like, yeah. But it's like teaching a toddler how to eat. I'm going to let them do the leading. They'll come and go out of it as and when they want. My eldest son's got the pirate deck. I did a review for Tabby on that one for their magazine. My middle child has the Radiant because it's just like him. He's just a big ball of sunshine. He's just such a big bouncy ball. Honestly, his name is Alistair, but I actually call him a little daredevil. I actually spelled his name with a D rather than a T. So he is my proper little daredevil. He is an Alistair. He is D-A-R-E at the end.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, D-A-I-R. He's my proper dare. And he's just... The Duracell bunny's got nothing on this boy. And Sam's just... She's my little Elsa. She really is. She's my little Elsa.
I've seen pictures of her, y'all, because we're friends on Facebook, and she's just a stunning little girl. She's going to be so pretty.
She is, and she is going to break some serious hearts, that girl. But I'll tell you what, she's a bossy madam, and boy, does chocolate melt in that mouth.
Well, I so appreciate you taking time. I know you've got places that you have to go and be, so I want to ask one last question.
Oh, you can ask a couple more. It's all right. We're good for time.
Oh, cool. Then I'll do that. So, let's do this. I'm going to ask a silly question.
You'll get a silly answer.
What's the proper tea to drink when reading tarot?
Builder's tea.
Such an easy answer.
Yeah, nice easy answer. Good, strong tea with a good helping of milk. To be honest, anything works. If you like coffee, drink coffee. Sometimes, I've got a cup of coffee here, but I've got a glass of water to my left as well. So whatever goes.
Yeah, I tell people if you're reading at festivals, take water with you. The festival people say they're going to bring you water. Generally, they get too busy. Take your own.
Yeah, you've got to have water and snacks. If you're doing a festival or you're doing a fete for the day, I've done reading days at Zen in not Brindley Place now. Where are they? Digbeth. And I've taken snacks and I've taken drinks in, and the other readers have gone, that's a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? And I'm just munching stuff through the day. Well, we had a Halloween fair at Zen, and I wore a corset. And God, was I glad to get out of that thing after 7 hours. Oh, my ribs were just like, can we move now, please? Oh.
Can I take a decent breath? Now tell us about Zen. If somebody's in your neck of the woods, they can come get a reading from you in person. You do readings like this, though, right? You do Skype readings?
I do Skype readings. I do email readings. I do face-to-face readings. I'll go as far up as Wolverhampton. So for those in the UK, that's north up the M6. Down as far as Droitwich, which is Junction 5 on the M5. Across to the other side of Brum, which takes me to the M42 and Coleshill. And as far out as Stourport, I think, is the other way. The other side of Kidderminster. So it's quite a big circle. It's about a 30-mile radius.
Wow.
That I will cover. Because about 30 miles, the way the roads are here, 30 miles, that's half an hour.
Yeah.
So
and what about parties? Do you do parties? Doable. Are you a party reader?
I've done parties before. Some, like everyone else, some at the party are kind of like skeptical. I'm like, I don't believe this. What am I doing here? Well, yeah, let me show you. And there's been a couple who have come in completely open to it, and it's just straight to the point. And like, how did you know that about me? I didn't. The cards did. I'm just reading what the cards are telling me and just what I'm picking up. Oh, and by the way, XYZ. You can't have known that about me. Yeah. There was an opening night of a bar here recently, just on the high street. And I went for the opening night, and the cards came out. And I don't usually read when I'm a little bit inebriated. Okay, I don't usually read when I'm at all inebriated, but I was kind of heading full sheets to the wind here. And the cards came out. So did a lot of honest truths. Yeah, really ought to learn when to keep my mouth shut. But I had people come up to me days afterwards going, how did you know that about me? I didn't, and I still don't. The cards did. That's what picked up on the cards.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you consider yourself a psychic reader or a reader with intuition? And I think intuition and psychic are pretty much the same, but some don't. How would you describe yourself?
No, for me, being psychic, it's a case of... You'll know the TV program Medium with Patricia Arquette?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. To me, psychic is kind of along more that kind of line. Whereas I don't. I read more of intuitively and empathically. So I'll pick up on body language, how you phrase things, sometimes what's not said than what is said. But sometimes when you're reading the cards, the psychic ability kicks in. You just think, yep, that didn't come from me directly. That's come from somewhere up here, and I'm just kind of the radio station that's got to deliver that song.
Yeah, I tell people that it's like, poof. And when I read, I have to tell people, say my name, because sometimes it's like verbal diarrhea. It's just bleh.
I hope that's stuff you can clean up later.
Well, I've apparently said stuff to people that they've said to me later, why did you say blah, blah, and blah? And I'm like, I don't remember saying that. I have no memory of that. Because sometimes I just, like you said, I just pass it through.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember most of my readings. After a time, they do kind of like Six of Cups, they do blur into oblivion and get rose-colour tinted, and you head off into the sunset, which is fine, which is exactly where they should go. But from all the readings I've done, there's no way I can remember the thousands that I've done.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I don't have a digital memory.
I tell people I brain dump because if I remembered all the readings I did, I'd have no room for anything else.
It's like giving birth to a child. Your body, you have to mentally forget about it. You do have to brain dump it out. You remember you gave birth, but you don't want to remember the details. You remember you did for that person, but you don't want to remember the details.
I've never had the pleasure and pain of giving birth, but I've heard other women say the same thing, that they said I wouldn't have had another child if I'd remembered the beginning.
Yeah, well, I did it 3 times, and I remember every little detail about them. Well, I think I remember every little bit of detail. My husband corrects me on a few of them. Obviously, different perspectives, and I was on gas and hair, so I will let you off with that one.
No.
I'll tell you what, gas and hair is the best thing. Oh, that's the best thing since sliced bread, that stuff.
Now, do you have a favorite card in the deck? Not one you identify with, because I know we have, like I think I'm the Queen of Wands, if I'm looking at my personality, but do you have a card that when you look at a deck to decide if you're going to read with it or not, is there a card that you have to see?
There's several, most of which are the majors. I will go for the Hermit. I'll go for Strength. And I like looking at Death.
Yeah.
Which is might be a bit weird, but it's how they depict the Death card. Is it traditional death on the white binky horse that's riding off to go save the Discworld again? No. If you look at the Death on the Wildwood, the Germany card, it's actually a crow recycling the meat off a skull. An animal has died, it's being reappropriated, it's being reused, it's being changed. It was what it once was, can no longer be. You can't cheat death. And when I learned that Mark was bringing that deck out, And I was like, really? Margaret? He's bringing out a deck? And then I learned that he'd done a deck beforehand. I was like, no way. Of course, that's now worth about $1,000 and nobody's selling them.
What deck did he do before?
The Greenwood.
Oh, he did do the Greenwood.
Yeah.
I have a
That's
copy.
$1,000. Do not get rid of that one. If anyone wants to give me one, though, send it my way.
Right. I've got the Greenwood and Wildwood, and I keep telling people I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison.
I've done a side-by-side comparison. I prefer Will Worthington's artwork. And they rejigged the Wildwoods so that some of the elements and the suits have changed and where they sit on the wheel, because there's a whole section in the front of the book where what element sits at what time of year. And if you've grown up with the Greenwood, it's different from the Wildwood. The wheels in a different orientation.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't even done that yet. I'm still in the process of moving, which is why I've got so much crap all around me.
I'm glad you said that your house is a little bit jumbled up. I've got 3 kids. There's no other state for me.
Well, we have 4 dogs, so it's the same thing. You know, I get up in the morning and there's dog toys and foam spread everywhere. So, but for me, the cards that I have to see are the Death and Star, and sometimes Chariot. You know, and it's the reason the Frank Cadella Adventure Tarot, the Death card in that one, is one of my favorites because it shows, you know, the guy transforming from human into metal.
All right. You know, I know you've sent me that deck over, but I haven't had the chance to sit and do anything more than just thumb through it, so I'm not aware of the image. But I have got that. I know I've got that deck because you sent it to me.
Eventually.
Yeah, but hey, I got it, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm the worst postal person. I'll tell everybody, I have a phobia of the post office, so I have to really gear myself up to go, and if there's too many people in, I won't go in, and there's no reason for it. I mean, I've never had a bad experience, nothing. If there's a lot of people in the post office, I'll turn around and go out, unless somebody's with me. So, it's a weird thing. But I've got a whole bunch of posts that I've got to get off, because I've got people who've ordered my books, so I need to sign and get those out. But let's see, what's another tarot topic? What's your least favorite question when you're doing a tarot reading?
What's that mean then? So you tell somebody, you explain a position in the card, and then they kind of go, what's that mean then? I'm like, weren't you listening for the last 5 minutes? Did you not absorb anything that was coming out of my mouth that you've paid me to say? Oh, come on. But my most favourite question is, right, okay, what do I do about it? It's one of my favourite questions, what do I do about it?
Because they're
Number
taking
one,
action.
yeah, they're taking ownership. What do I do about it? Not what do you do about it, but what do I do about it? And it's like, yeah, I like that. If you're going to take ownership of it, you and I are going to get on fine.
Now, do you have a particular spread you start with? Do you do the Celtic, or do you have a different...
9 times out of 10, I will start with the middle of the Celtic cross. And once I get to the end card of the middle section of the Celtic cross, where do we go from here? Anything's open. It depends on what the question is. I've done spreads before where I've used half a deck and I've gone from there, and I've done a pyramid and I've done 10 on the bottom row. 9, 8, 7, 6, and I've used half the deck.
Yeah.
I did that for a lady once, and that was unbelievable. Because she was going, yep, I can see that, I can see that, I can see that. I was thinking about that. I was like, right, okay. So 3 months later, it was a complete and utter change for her.
Wow, those are fun. Those are fun to do. They're a little scary for me when I do something. I read for somebody and they were thinking about completely changing their lives, going from an established career into filmmaking. And everything in the cards, and they wanted to know if they should follow their career or follow the film, and everything in the cards was like, drop and go, run to Hollywood, go live the dream. And they did. And I felt so much responsibility. I was like, oh, what
Is this
happened?
turn out? Oh.
You know, and they
Yeah.
emailed me and said things were going well. They were in school for film and living their dream, doing what they wanted.
Good.
So,
It is hard because you do feel partially responsible if you sent them off down somewhere and you think, were the cards right? But sometimes conversely as well, if you say to somebody that's not a good idea and they go and do it anyway and they come back to you 6 months later and go, you know what, you were right. And I was like, sorry.
yeah, right?
It's at the end of the day, it's their responsibility. It's up to them whether they pay attention or not.
Yeah, because you give them. This is what they say, you know. And I do a choice reading sometimes. That, you know, here's what happens if you do this. Here's what happens if you do this. You make the choice, and they can be fairly even. But in my heart, I'm like, oh, you really need to go for this one. And I'll say this feels like the better choice to me after we've discussed it. And if they say, well, what do you think? But and then they'll still go do this. It's like,
No, I've had some good readings doing that as well, where it's been a case of looking at 2 or 3 options, and it started off with 3 cards per option, and then it's gone to 5 cards, and then suddenly it's like 10 cards per option, and you look at the overall picture, and my favourite question at that point is, so which one appeals to you more? And they'll turn it back and they'll go, well, which one appeals to you? It's like, no, it's got to be your choice because it's your life. I'm not going to have to make this choice.
yeah.
This is not for me. This is not for me to sit down and decide for you. This is for you to decide. I'm just kind of here standing, pointing at the signposts.
Right.
Which road you go down is up to you.
Yeah. I'll have people pick up cards in a big spread, and I'll say, which card do you like the least? Which card do you like the most? Which cards would you change if you could just reach out there and change them? And it's really interesting to see what they'll flip around.
Yeah, I was at fundraising one night, and my friend sat down and had her cards done. She didn't like the cards that came up, so she took the deck and she started dealing the cards out until she followed that she liked, and then she spread them out. And I went, see all these that you've just not paid attention to? I said, yes. So I pulled them out in a line, and I gave her a quick synopsis. 4 months later, she discovers that she's pregnant with twins. So everything that had come down to the business and money related were nothing really to do with business, well, they're to do with money, but not the business. They were to do with, you're about to get a big shock. Not in the way you thought. So when I told her to keep a hold of the money and not spend it, she did keep a hold of the money. She didn't spend it, and 4 months later, she was spending it on getting stuff for the twins.
Yeah, and twins will change your life.
Oh, yeah, I think her phrase and my phrase are the same. It's like, that's it, I quit.
No.
She and I, we've had enough. We've done 3. She's got 3 girls. I've got 2 and a boy. 2 boys and a girl. That's enough. This house ain't big enough for any more.
Now, Louise, for our last question, what's a piece of advice you'd give somebody who wants to go into a professional role? What do you think 2 or 3 things are that they should start with?
Do your homework. Read lots. And I would also, it depends upon where this last one happens, but I would say get some training. Now, there are lots of people out there who will offer you training courses and qualifications, which, frankly, are not worth the 80 GSM paper they are printed on.
Yeah. I would make sure you did your research. You know, don't just go based on what the association or organization tells you they are, because we're all going to say, we're great, we're wonderful. Ask people who have done the work, you know, ask Tabby people, ask them for references. Tabby will say, okay, you know, go talk to this person, and this person, and find out what they think.
Let's go in this group and find out from the group. Oh dear, pour you coffee. More coffee for Arwen.
Yeah.
You like with anybody, if you don't do your homework, woe betide you. It's like if you're going to get a builder in, you don't get a builder based upon upon what he says his references are. You go and do your own homework. You go and do your own research, and you go find out, well, I want to hire this guy. What's he done before? Where's his references? I had quotes from a builder, and I had one quote from one builder because I'd seen him do 3 jobs around the area, and I kept almost tripping over him in his van. To the extent I know all his guys' names, I know all his workers' names, and I know his name.
Yeah. Yeah. And so guys, when you're looking for, and do the same when you're looking for a reader, just because you see me, Louise, and Louise has a YouTube channel that she's going to be beefing up a little bit. We talked about that.
Yes, we have. Yes, boss.
In her copious amounts of free time.
Yeah, when you find some of it, send it my way, will you?
I'm still looking. But
yes, so am I.
Yeah, but look at people, and when I tell people, when I teach on YouTube, go look at other teachers, go look at other people telling you how to learn tarot, and combine, synthesize, use what works for you. And same for getting a reader or getting training. Find somebody that works for you.
Same idea. Find something that works for you. I mean, it took me a while. It took me a little hunting around to find Tabby. And from Tabby, I found the ATA, found the Tarot Guild of Australia, and a couple of others. And you kind of start knowing about these organisations and all these little different pockets of the world, and you think, yay, that's good.
Yeah. We're all over the place. There's apparently a Chinese Tarot Association, too.
I didn't know that, but did you know that Tabby's actually a Chinese sock?
What do you mean?
The word Tabby isn't just Tarot Association of the British Isles. It's also, the footwear you get to wear with shoes in Japan that split your toes, so you get your big toe and your next toe combined in one section, and your other 3 in the next pocket. Kind of makes your toes do that, if you like, in socks. It's actually a sock called Tabby.
I've never heard of that. That's amazing.
I know. We've had that a few times.
It's like a toe mitten.
Yes, basically it is. It's toe mittens. But you get them in Japan and China.
Well, I guess because of the shoes with the wooden shoes with the split, like, and I can't do that either. Oh my God.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it. That's as much as I can do for the Vulcan sign. I mean, how pathetic is that? I can't do that. I have to super glue my fingers together to get that to work.
You know that, I can't think of his name right now, but the new Spock had to tape his fingers together to do that when he was playing Spock.
Oh, that makes me so happy to know that.
Zach Quinto. I couldn't think of his name offhand.
Yes,
but yeah.
Zach. Makes me so happy to know that he can't do it either.
I practiced as a kid, man. I practiced.
My dad tried to get me to do that, but I can hold a cup of tea and I can put my little finger out. I can do Downton Abbey very well. But
yeah, Downton Abbey isn't out here until January, so I haven't even begun season 6.
I haven't seen any of them.
They're lovely, but, of course, Americans are all into anything British. Over here is exotic and interesting. For me, it's Scotland, because that's where my family is from. My family originated in Annandale.
Oh, yeah. I know what Annandale is. It's just north of the border.
Well, and I tell people that my clan is the reason, or part of the reason, the word bereaved is in the English language, because we were part of the Reavers. The poem Comes a Highwayman.
Oh, yes.
It's written about a Johnston who apparently was a really jackass about shooting people on the road. But so
yes, but Annandale is just north of the border. It's just before Dumfries and Galloway, and it's not the first time I've stopped at the Annandale water service motel services on the motorway. Because after a 5-hour drive, getting to there, it's kind of like, right. I'm across the border. Can I stop now, please? Please let me stop.
Yeah, that's my goal, is someday to get to Scotland. Of course, I've got Lynch on my father's side, so that's across the water a little bit. That's over in Ireland. But
Yeah.
it's the Scots that really affected my grandmother was a Scot-German, and she was tough.
She'd have had to have been.
Yeah, she didn't take shit from anybody.
Sounds a bit like my mother.
Well, Louise, thank you so much. Everybody, again, this was Louise of Priestess Tarot.
Thank you, Arwen. And I'm sorry I made you get dressed so fast.
I was sitting in my robe going, we're lucky I looked at my phone. But I will, I'm going to put links to her Facebook page and to how to get a reading from her, and also her blog, because her blog's amazing, guys. You really need to go read it. She's in depth on the Wildwood Tarot, and you need to read it if you want to learn anything about that deck. She's really what I consider an expert in that deck.
I'm not as expert as the creators. I'll stay second run down to Mark. I am not taking that crown from him. I like the guy too much.
Well, thank you very, very much for joining me. And is there anything you'd like to... I'm sorry.
No, is there anything I'd like to ask you? What's your favourite deck?
Right now, it's the Gaian Tarot. And that's...
Joanna Powell.
I have...
5 copies. Why?
Well, I bought... Actually, 6.
Oh, gosh.
I bought 3 limited editions because she did it on payment plans. And so I did it over different years. And then she sent me a deck once because I had done an interview or something for her, so she sent me a copy. And then I bought a mass market because I wanted to have a mass market. And then they announced Llewellyn was putting them out of print, and I had to get another one. I'm a hoarder.
What's out of print? Why? Why has Llewellyn put it out of print?
Unknown. But Schiffer's putting it back out this March.
So Schiffer's got it now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. I've got my copy.
Yeah, it's a deck. I love it, and I also in the Adventure Tarot by Frank Fidella. For whatever reason, that deck really resonated with me when I first picked it up. It used to be my primary deck. So
I need to pull that one out, but there's so many in my collection I need to pull out. I've got 88 or 89 tarot decks, I think. I can't remember.
I've been trying to go through my my collection and do reviews.
You're trying to do an inventory?
Well, I've done an inventory, and I'm embarrassed by it.
Why?
It's over 400.
Mary Cullen's got over 900. She whoops your ass on that. I have stood in that lady's tarot room. Bookcases are 2 decks deep, and I can just about, if I stretch my hands out to pity points, I can just touch the one side of the bookshelf to the other.
Oh, I would love that.
It was heaven.
I bet.
Heaven. It was brilliant. 900 decks, double deep. Every bookcase. There was even a shelf. There was even 2 shelves across the door. It was down the sides. It was from floor to ceiling. It was, I'm just in there. I'm just like a kid in a candy shop. My jaw's down here. I'm like,
and now she's gone on to Lenormand. I can't imagine what she's done on the Lenormand side, right?
She's finding Leonard. What was the phrase she was using? No nonsense.
No nonsense.
She's finding no nonsense. You know how your grandmother didn't take any nonsense? Yeah, well, Leonard takes no prisoners either. I haven't got my head into it yet. Need to get the funds together to send off this Kipper deck from Chero Marchetti. I need my Kipper deck. I can't think of anything else other than my Christmas list, which is kind of a bit extensive.
Yeah, I've got decks on my my list that are miles long. I just got one of my, I don't know where it is, but I got the Victorian Romantic.
Oh, from Baba Studios.
missing one card.
No. Have you contacted Karen?
No, I haven't. I actually was going to write to her and just see if she might have that one card laying. It's like the Ace of Wands or something. I have to go back through. I bought it off Goodwill, and I was so upset. Yeah, I didn't
No,
spend.
contact Karen and see if she's got a spare copy of that run, or spare of that card kicking around, because they self-publish. They've got stuff that's gone through the print run that hasn't been brilliant. Then part of the deck, say, has failed in the print run, so they've kept the half the deck that's good, but chucked the rest away. So they might well have it. Honestly, contact Karen. If she hasn't got it, she'll tell you. But she'll also tell you where you might be able to get hold of one.
That would be brilliant, because I only spent $100 on it, $100 US, which is so cheap.
No, that's expensive. That's about 45 quid.
Yep, but for that deck, it's the first run.
Oh, first edition.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the most I've paid for a deck is £80 for the Buckland money.
Yeah. Now
and that's first edition print run. It was used, but it was in very, very good condition. Honestly, it's just been opened, thumbed, and put back in the box.
And I've got the Buckland Gypsy deck. It's the playing card deck.
Oh yeah.
I found that on the Goodwill site too. So I go over there every now and again.
Is this another thing that's very good but only American?
I don't know if they ship internationally, but they might. But it's shopgoodwill.com. And sometimes they have really good tarot. And sometimes they have people on there being silly and just way overbidding stuff. And I won't get involved in that, because I'm not going to spend a ton of money. I don't make a ton of money.
Yeah.
So
I'll mention the Greenwood at $1,000, and that'll just... Yeah, some people are asking too much money. I mean, $1,000, excuse me? I'd buy a second-hand car for that.
Yeah.
That's 800 British pounds. That's... Ooh. That's my car insurance breakdown cover and home contents and buildings insurance for a year.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to spend that kind of money.
It is. It's like, excuse me, have you got more money than sense, or have your common sense sprouted butterflies and... I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And the Scot in me, I have enough Scottish upbringing that I'm like, no, those pennies need to stay here. Right here. I might need them. Because my grandmother could make a penny squeal.
I haven't heard a penny squeal for years.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I will let you get on to your day. I know you've got kids and school and all that sort of stuff.
Yes. Thank you for that reminder. I've got to go get little darlings from school in a bit. You take care, and don't do anything I would do.
Oh, dang it.
Which leaves you lots of room for scope, because there ain't much I wouldn't do.
Yay! Hey, Louise, have a great day.
And to you, Arwen. You take care, darling.
Bye, honey.
Bye.